Part 86. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 881. The singing stopped, the drum beat stopped. Jigglypuff was gasping for breath, and the hand holding the microphone was soaked in sweat. At the same time, there was a rock equipment tight belt on his hairy forehead. It's also a bit hot here. Summer. I heard it goes better with rock music. Poppy. Dreamcatcher and Tajapede watched Jigglypuff's performance obediently, including a Mimikyu that sneaked out. The three elves looked at the current Jigglypuff with big, dull, and surprised eyes. This should. It's Jigglypuff's first big performance in front of strangers. But. Very cool. Wow, wow wow. Yang Yu's heart was filled with shock, not for anything else but because Jigglypuff's performance this time was unexpectedly good. Unexpectedly, he was able to finish the song completely. More importantly, at the beginning, Jigglypuff was still a little embarrassed, nervous and scared. However, this hoarse singing voice became louder and louder as it grew longer, and he became more confident as he sang. Hey, man, this Jigglypuff of yours looks great. She doesn't look like a girl at all, she's cool, and powerful. It's incredible. Yang Yu could only understand some of the words, but the praises of these wanderers were beyond words. In the thumbs up, Yang Yu could see their affirmation of Jigglypuff. However, I still have to thank these elves on the stage. Of course, Yang Yu was relieved in his heart. It looks like this friendly musical exchange can continue. This kind of experience seems quite exciting. Yang Yu thought in his heart. When Yang Yu appeared in darkness in front of the dim light, it can be said that the homeless people in Boston were all shocked. Trainer from China. Come here in the backstreet neighborhood. It seems that this Chinese trainer is very courageous. However, those who don't have courage on this night are not worthy of coming here. This Jigglypuff is very interesting. With this talent, he should sing this man's rock music. Meow. This cat boss slowly walked on cat steps, walking step by step to an open space in front of Yang Yu and Jigglypuff. The aura on his body was quite ferocious like that of a tiger elf, but in this one, it was a bit chilling. Even under the ferocious face, the paws extended by the cat boss are extremely gentle. Probably. Let's have fun playing music together. Bowling. The cat boss can only see with his left eye, and his right eye is cloudy and blurred and cannot move. Such an elf can easily scare some elves. But Jigglypuff wasn't afraid. Bowling. Fatty looked back in Yang Yu's direction and asked for Yang Yu's opinion. Touched by the power of the wave guide, Yang Yu nodded in the direction of Jigglypuff. The cat boss stared at Yang Yu with his left eye in great surprise. Next to Yang Yu, there was a slow king that he couldn't feel his strength. Because of this, the cat boss deliberately sniffed the air more. Sniff. There is no dangerous aura, at least, this is a relatively friendly human trainer. Being friendly doesn't mean bullying is okay. Therefore, the eyes of the cat boss are also faintly fearful. 3 grams of oil, 3 grams of oil, nothing more than Rui sells chew. After all, there was only so much Yang could speak in English, but what surprised Yang Yu was that 2 of the homeless people here in the back streets of Boston also knew a little bit of Chinese, and they could still communicate in extremely simple ways. If you were walking on the street, it would be hard to believe that these people gathered here and sitting on the ground one by one were homeless people in the Boston neighborhood. Of course, one of them didn't look like him. He should be just like Yang Yu. Come find free musicians on the streets in this backstreet neighborhood. There is no unpleasant smell here, and there is even a little floral fragrance. Yang Yu took a closer look at the surrounding environment and found that there seemed to be something more in the corner behind him. It's the Bulbasaur from before. The 2 vine whips of this Bulbasaur seem to be holding a strange-shaped leaf, and there are crystal water drops on this leaf. It's a little drop of life water left in front of Bulbasaur before. Next to this Bulbasaur, there suddenly appeared a walking grass. There were some green grasses on the heads of the walking grass, and some wilting and pale yellow colors. Man, it's the drop of life. Bulbasaur, where did the drop of life come from? One of the wanderers with sinister eyes, Ram, looked in astonishment at the droplets of life water on the leaves that Bulbasaur carefully held, which looked as pure as diamonds under the weak light. Seed, seed. Bulbasaur glanced left and right in the direction of Yang Yu, then stretched out a third vine whip and pushed the walking grass in front of the wanderer Ram. Oh, my man, do you know what the drop of life means? It's a lot of dollars. You just gave the drop of life to a Bulbasaur. Crazy, crazy, is this really a drop of life? Hiss, the water droplets of life can only be used by water elves who are at least elite or above. Moreover, I went to the elf hospital to take a sneak peek before. The life water drops in the hospital are not as pure as these drops. Man, what are your intentions? If you have any other bad thoughts, please take back these drops of life water. Such kindness is too expensive. Sorry, we can't afford it. The wanderers were once again on their guard. For them, living in this world of capital elves, there is no help for no reason in this world. Even if it is goodwill, it is only a small help. Being able to have a small help is actually the greatest goodwill. However, for wanderers, for people living in areas, water drops of life. This is not a kindness they can afford. At the Boston Elf Hospital, just a few drops of life water cost thousands of dollars, not to mention, these life water drops on the leaves, in terms of quality, they are far better than the life water drops from the elf hospital. Some elf hospitals even make huge profits through dilution. Seed, seed. Bulbasaur was a little anxious, because the wilting condition of the walking plants it pushed out was actually quite serious. There is no way to do this, because no one is willing to use expensive life water drops to treat little elves like walking grass that can be seen everywhere. Yang Yu had also seen such a scene at the elf trusteeship. Every time he saw it, he would be deeply touched. Drops of life were nothing to Yang Yu, but to Dede, they were just water-based moves that came easily at his fingertips. However, for other weak elves, it is something that can save the life of the elves. Are they all living here with you? Yang Yu gestured and asked. The former wanderer Ram nodded, yes, we all belong to the same backstreet neighborhood and live together. These drops of life water should be regarded as Jigglypuff's tuition. You see, my Jigglypuff gets along well with these elves who are good at rock and roll on the stage. Its throat is not suitable for singing lyrical songs. So, rock and roll is the way to go. The purpose of my coming here is actually to look for rock in the Boston neighborhood. I think, now I have found it. Yang Yu's eyes fell on Jigglypuff on the stage. Yang Yu's first beginning in this elf world was through his relationship with Jigglypuff, and he learned to sing. Yang Yu's first job in this world was at the elf trusteeship. I didn't have the ability to help these elves before, but now I have it. If you saw it, you would help these elves, right? Yang Yu sighed with emotion. Every elf is the darling of the world. This is the very beginning and Yang Yu's original intention. Just have a clear conscience. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Shao. Chapter 882. A few drops of life water were put into a large iron bucket. Then, the only two water elves here, Yubo and Big Tongue Shell, filled the iron bucket with difficulty. Everyone is greedy, but the leader of the wanderers here knows that once he has greedy thoughts, the powerful Chinese trainer in front of him must not be as easy to talk to as he is now. Huddled at the bottom of the capital elf world, the wanderer Ram has long had a pair of extremely insightful eyes, and he knows the world of people very well. The tense atmosphere gradually eased, as if smelling the scent of water droplets of life. Many elves hidden in the dark gradually revealed their heads, with pairs of eyes twinkling in the dim light. At this moment, they were like stars, full of energy. Looking forward to hope. This Bulbasaur, whose seeds have rotten colors, picked up a small scoop with a woven rattan. This is a gadget that elves like them use to water flowers in the corners of the city. Some buds can be vaguely seen in the corner of the wall. Flowers are growing vigorously. This is their masterpiece. Dependent on each other? Maybe that's it? At this moment, in addition to Bulbasaur, there were also a few Rattata who seemed to be tempted to drink secretly. However, this movement was discovered by a pangolin in the burrow, and this pangolin glared fiercely. They glanced at each other and showed off their arms, which were many times thicker than those of these little rattas. There is order here. The elven world cannot give them a stable home or fair treatment, so the only way is to unite and treat ourselves and the elves around us well. Meow. The cat boss's deep and majestic voice silenced the entire neighborhood. Those elves who were eager to jump in line immediately stopped this idea. These bold ideas will eventually make them understand what it would be like to have the iron claws of the cat boss. Next to this cat boss, there are the two-tailed monster hand, Lotta, the small fist stone, and a floating ghost elf Guis. This is like the evil force under the darkness in the elf world. However, for these elves, this evil ultimately just wants to give themselves a home where they can settle down. At this time, the steps of the cat boss were like a beast descending the mountain. The left eye issued a terrible warning to these ratas who were ready to move, and the sharp teeth were exposed at the corners of the mouth. There is no doubt that this is a cat boss who has seen blood. If there was no blood, there would be no habitable territory like now. Each of these little ratas shivered. It is true that the fat rat hutton next to the cat boss was the same kind as them, but no elf dared to disobey the cat boss in this backstreet neighborhood. The cat boss is the only order maker here. However, there is an extra pink Jigglypuff beside the cat boss, which makes such a chilling scene even more bizarre in contrast. Although Jigglypuff is a little brave, at least some of the nature left over from the fairy gym still has the softness of elves like Jigglypuff. If it weren't for Jigglypuff's voice, maybe, it will appear more clingy. The cat boss was walking in front, while Jigglypuff held his hands to his side awkwardly, lowered his head, and occasionally raised his head to look in the direction of Yang Yu. After all, Jigglypuff was still a little nervous. Poppy. The little dream monster, Tijipai and Mimikyu, who had his head stuck out next to the little dream monster, all ran over to Jigglypuff at this moment. The little dream demon blinked. Isn't the life of the cat boss what it has always imagined before? Be a dream monster king. Very cool, very cool. It's a very amazing feeling. Yang Yu looked at the scene in front of him with some surprise. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, Yang Yu would have never thought that he would see an elf like the cat boss. In the dark corner of the city, he maintains his own 1/3 of an acre of land. Survival is the only rule. Wherever the sun shines, there is bright light, but in this dark place, this cat boss has become the center that these wandering elves can rely on. In the darkness is the brightest light. The cat boss and his rock music minions set out, and order was formed here in an instant. Babble. Easy. Each walking grass uses its head to catch the diluted drops of life water scooped up by Bulbasaur. When a little drop of water followed the path of the grass on the head of the walking grass and gradually integrated into the body of the walking grass, the eyes of the tired walking grass gradually became clearer and brighter. Even if the life drops are diluted, the elves who use the move are stunned, and it still has an excellent effect on these elves. If it weren't for the cues, Yang Yu would never have thought that there were even hundreds of elves gathered here. There are quite a lot of walking grasses, as well as rattata and mushrooms, and occasionally 1 or 2 coyotes can be seen. Every elf is fair, because the spoon Bulbasaur tied with a vine whip is not much. It is precisely because I have lived here for a long time that I understand how precious these water with life drops are. Those elves who wanted to take a few more greedy sips had no choice but to watch the water in the iron bucket drain away bit by bit. For them, this is already a added meal within the day. Without Yang Yu's appearance, Without the life water drops used by Dai, the water source they could replenish would have basically been exhausted. Yubo and Big Tongue Shell are the only two water elves here. They need to follow the wanderers to the river on the edge of the city during the day to absorb enough water, and wait until they return at night so that the elves living in the backstreets can replenish their water supply. Life is hard, but you can still survive. If it rains for a day, it may be a very good day for them. In this way, Wubo and Big Tongue Bay are like taking a vacation, and they no longer have to go far and far to the countryside with the wanderers. However, the rainy season is not a good weather for wanderers. But what can be done? Just to comfort myself, the tired elves can also drink the rainwater. The wanderers here share a glass of water with drops of life among each other. Although this glass of water is much more than what these elves received, it is far from enough for people. Water is the source of life. Clean water is even more rare under such living conditions. However, what made Yang Yu a little moved was that these wanderers just took a small sip to moisten their throats, and then waved to their elf companions to come over. Lada. Fat Radha was jumping up and down with joy like a 200-pound fat man, and his belly was shaking. He wiggled his big butt happily and ran to his trainer with a bump in his pants. Two-tailed monsters and ghosts are no exception. This is a happy time, and such happiness can be completely radiated when these wandering elves cling to the wanderers. The cat boss came to the side of the wanderer Ram with powerful steps, and his eyes fell on Yang Yu. At this time, under the dim light, even though Yang Yu's face looked a little clearer, Roma didn't recognize the face, but he could recognize the elf next to Yang Yu. A stupid king. A dream monster. A Tijapai. The identity is already ready to be revealed. This is the trainer who is stirring up trouble at the Boston Super Gym, Yang Yu. Oh, it's you. Wanderer Ram squatted down and gently stroked the head of the cat boss. The ferocious-looking cat boss rubbed his cheek in Ram's hand proudly and contentedly. Don't underestimate the most inconspicuous homeless people on the block. They often know a lot in this market. Watching this big cat happily licking the water in the cup with his tongue. We are wanderers, but our elves are not wandering elves. Trainer from China, Yang Yu. Yang Yu extended his hand respectfully. Wanderer Roma was stunned for a moment, looked down at his hands, and then wiped them on his clothes with some embarrassment. North American wanderer, Roma. Perhaps seeing the introduction and understanding between Yang Yu and Ram, Yang Yu's Jigglypuff also walked up to the cat boss. I am Jigglypuff. Meow. The pupil of the cat boss's left eye shrank. In the majestic atmosphere, there was even embarrassment and panic. I am a cat. Cat, cat, cat boss. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 883. On the simple stage, there is an extra frog. While the croak frog is still young and extremely malleable, it's really hard not to have some survival skills on hand these days. The little dream monster and Tijapai have super cute skills, and the little frog, seems like he can't be cute, he can only show off his craftsmanship. However, Yang Yu was surprised to find that the frog's flexible hands and extraordinary sensitivity to surrounding things also gave it an incredible talent for the musical sense of music. Of course, the musical sense here does not refer to singing. The croaking frog singing is croaking croaking, which is not as good as the little jumping frog sung by Yang Yu. It refers to the croaking frog's control of the instrument. It has to be said that the cooperation between humans and elves can lead to many incredible miracles, and many unexpected objects are born in life. How about it? These musical instruments were all picked up when we were scavenging. Our little ratas do look a little annoying, but when it comes to picking up things, they are foreigners. These musical instruments are just thrown here and there. Get up. Yang Yu was confused when he heard Roma's Luoshi Mandarin. Fortunately, he had hands to gesture, and the instrument itself was placed in front of him. Yang Yu felt that he did not understand but understood. Okay, where you okay? Yang Yu nodded repeatedly. There is an old saying in China, if you are poor, you will think about change, if you change, you will be successful, if you are popular, you will be successful. The wanderers here and their elves interpret this sentence vividly. This is the best path found in a difficult life. Although it is hard, the pain is also a day, and the joy is also a day. The pain of the day is gradually eliminated in the joy of music in the evening. This croak-headed frog is very bang, cool. These instruments can be played with ease and it will definitely become a great musician in the future. The frog wants to give each of these wanderers a big mouth. It wants to be a ninja elf in the future, not a music elf. More importantly, doesn't anyone see that it is forced to open? Oh, the frog is too miserable. It's a very pleasant short night. I will come here earlier this time tomorrow. I didn't expect that you have a complete set of musical instruments here, and the music played by the elves is indeed very powerful, beyond my imagination. You guys, it is indeed creating miracles. Friends from China, as promised, see you at this time tomorrow. Bye bye. Cool, I never thought I would meet a Chinese trainer in this place one day. How do you say this in Chinese? It's crazy. When Yang Yu left the back street block, the cat boss and his little brothers followed these wanderers to the corner of the back street. This corner is like two separate worlds. However, both worlds have their own light. Boom. Poppy. See you tomorrow, North American wanderers. It's an amazing feeling coming out of a backstreet neighborhood. The inside is like a medium-sized elf trusteeship, except that it is a non-profit trusteeship. Moreover, the elves inside still have a fiery and kind heart under their fierce appearance. Is this the charm of the neighborhood? Yang Yu murmured, suddenly stopping his steps. There are two people blocking this narrow intersection. This is looking for trouble? Halls and John never expected that they would lose track of time while leaning against the wall and listening to the lively rock music inside. I even forgot what I was doing here. If this place wasn't relatively narrow and dark, Halls and John would definitely go in and swing together. What they still don't understand is what the Chinese trainer is doing in this place. After all, no matter how young he is still a professor. How could a professor who could come to Hatta Elf University for exchanges think of coming to the dark corner of the city of Boston? Could it be that there really is some shady secret? However, Halls and John are also human beings, and they even have a certain love for rock music. They cannot go in here, and what if they are discovered after entering, so the two of them can only stay here. This stay lasted for several hours. It's strange to say that the two of them were not tired at all. They even started to sway up and down and left and right at the end, just holding a microphone and acting like a microphone. But what the two of them didn't expect was that Yang Yu would come out like this. Sad face, lie equals, rub. I didn't even say a word to them when I came out. This time. What should I do if I meet someone head on? Halls and John looked at each other, and nodded slowly with eyes that only the two of them could understand. Just when Yang Yu thought they had malicious intentions and were about to take action. They really took action. Well, swinging in this narrow space, the two of them seemed to have become two rock music lovers who were obsessed with each other. In front of Yang Yu, the two of them began to swing and interact. This poor acting. When Yang Yu looked at it, he doubted whether the Boston Elf Alliance was full of funny people. He was basically convinced that these were people sent by the Elf Alliance to follow him, but Yang Yu didn't care about this. After all. Yeah. Dada recognized it immediately. These are two regular customers of Dada Dessert Shop. Basically every morning, you can see these two people queuing up to buy desserts at Dada Dessert Shop. Dede can't be wrong about this. Since Dede said this, Yang Yu basically knew it. However, now that these two people are acting, Yang Yu still has to give him this tacit understanding to cooperate with their work. After all, everyone needs to eat well. The Boston Elf Alliance sent so many people to Dede Dessert Shop to buy desserts. This money must have been paid by the Elf Alliance. Even if they paid it themselves, they would definitely be reimbursed later. So, wouldn't it be great if we all make money together? Yang Yu coughed lightly, and then pretended not to recognize these two people. When he walked over, he motioned to them to give way. It was too narrow here or it would be difficult to walk. When Halls and John saw Yang Yuzhen walking over like this, their hearts jumped even more rapidly. For a while, they didn't know whether it was because the crazy swaying and stepping here made their hearts beat faster or because they were afraid. Yang Yu just walked over, and Dede turned sideways and reluctantly moved over against the wall. Even though Dede's golden conch cap was a Dede King's crown, it was still quite big. If you walk sideways, you will get stuck in the wall. Neither Halls nor John dared to take a breath. Especially when the little dream demon slowly floated over and made a face in the direction of the two of them, it was not ordinary scary in such a neighborhood night environment. He walked over. John. I know, are we exposed? It should be, exposed. Even if he doesn't know us, that slow king should have recognized us. So, do you want to continue following? You see he didn't expose us, so that should still be okay, right? The two gradually fell silent. Immediately, John was stunned and said, Horse, have we reached some unknown behind-the-scenes agreement with the target? Halls spread his hands and said, it's possible. It's really hard to keep an eye on people here. God knows why this trainer Yang Yu came to this place. Is it because of neighborhood rock? The music on the streets of Boston at night is a beautiful scenery. I believe this, but, will our boss believe it? Halls sighed. Good guy, you came out of the backstreet block late at night, and you were alone, not even a student. Is this normal behavior? It must be the conspiracy of trainer Yang Yu. After the UFO incident, the Boston Super Gym and the Boston Elf Alliance became a laughingstock throughout North America. Now, it's Mkinson's much-needed opportunity to express himself. This is not. This trainer Yang Yu came to your door? Mkinson feels like his youth is back. Keep an eye on him, and if he makes any other movements, report it immediately. On the way back to the manor, Yang Yu was wondering if he should take the initiative to contact some people from the Boston Elf Alliance. They have been following him secretly for so many days, and they should be familiar to them no more. Why was Yang Yu, a young man with a pure and good nature, targeted in this way? Is this president of the Boston Elf Alliance suffering from persecution delusions? Yang Yu shook his head. No matter what, I give Yang Yu money every day anyway. What a good person. Such a nice guy, should you give him a super double discount? Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 884. Professor Yang Yu, this is an invitation to the elf battle from Boston Super Gym leader Eisen. Early the next morning, Yang Yu still got up for morning exercises as usual. However, it was slightly less than half an hour later than before. Jigglypuff's night was full of sweet dreams. When Yang Yu woke up, he found that Jigglypuff seemed to be talking in his sleep, tapping the rhythm and melody. This is love. At the entrance of the Dede Dessert Shop, Professor Flayswain came over early with his little grandson. As usual, Professor Freshwell sent his grandson to the door to queue up for 2 small toffee. He peeled one of them open and ate it slowly. Yang Yukong looked at Professor Freshwell speechlessly. When he took the candy from his grandson's hand, he was so skillful. The little grandson's expression that seemed sad and angry but helpless, was really interesting. Professor Freshwell, if you need toffee, I can give you a box for free. The child's sad and angry little eyes immediately became bright, and he almost screamed with excitement. The happiest thing every day is queuing up at Grandpa's dessert shop, Hadda Elf University. The toffee here is so delicious, and most importantly, it's free. Day Dessert Shop is opened in Haifa, an Elf University. No one would be shameless enough to take a few more. Even if there is no limit per person, but in full view of everyone, who dares to take more? The people at the back of the line are staring directly at the people in front, and most of the people queuing here are children, and there are also adults, but they are usually in the queue to buy desserts, toffees. Here is the team of children. In order to show their cultivation, children will never take more, otherwise they will be too embarrassed to come over in the future. If the adults in line want to take more, they will be critically hit by the angry eyes of the children. Originally, Professor Freshwell's grandson could eat 2 candies a day, but after his grandfather took one away, he lost half of it. At this time, he was even more excited when he heard Yang Yu said that he would give them a box of toffee. Professor Freshwell was stunned for a moment, then nodded and accepted happily. "Thank you, Professor Yang Yu. The cost of these candies is much lower than that of desserts. Even the profit from selling a dessert in a dessert shop is more than the cost of these free milk candies for a day." It seems that Yang Yu is losing blood, but actually he is gaining blood. When children line up here, they naturally bring their parents with them. It is these parents who have certain purchasing power. There are so many people queuing up here waiting for the Day Dessert Shop to open. Naturally, some people will be curious about how many delicious things are there to make so many people stand in line at the door so willingly. More importantly, it is like this every day, and you can even see many old faces. Some passers-by once thought that these people were sitters hired by Day Dessert Shop, but when they were enjoying desserts, the reactions of the elves around these people were, the happy expression on his face cannot be faked. Naturally, more and more people have become loyal fans of Day Dessert Shop. Not to mention the Boston Super Gym battle. Although Yang Yu and Day did not promote it, Day's golden conch hat is really easy to recognize. In North America, there has never been a Day with a golden conch cap. Even when making desserts, Day wears a chef's hat that covers the golden conch cap, but after the desserts are sold out every day, Day will still take off your hat. Once you see it, you know it. Is Eisen looking for another beating? Yang Yu took the invitation letter from Professor Flazai and said casually. Puff. Professor Freshwell couldn't help but accidentally spray out the candy in his mouth like a seed machine gun. Cough cough cough, cough cough cough, I'm sorry. Professor Freshwell was completely confused. Is Eisen looking for another fight? Listen, is what Professor Yang Yu said human language? Under the angry gaze of his little grandson, Professor Flazewayne awkwardly picked up the candy from the ground with the paper in his pocket. He could only go back and wash it before eating it. During this short process, Flazai gradually realized that there seemed to be nothing wrong with what Professor Yang Yu said. This invitation letter is just to invite Professor Yang Yu to fight with him again. After all, in the middle of the last gym battle, there was an accident, and even the entire Boston Police Department was dispatched. But the problem is, Professor Yang Yu's performance should be that he was crushing Eisen in the fight. Otherwise, would there be an incident like a UFO? In this way, if Eisen sent this invitation letter to Professor Yang Yu for a fight, wouldn't it mean that Eisen took the initiative to ask for a fight? Nothing wrong at all. So the question is, can Super Gym still withstand gym-level Pokemon battles? The North American Elf Gym does not have that many branch bases. There is only one venue. The entire gym will lose. No one knows how many dollars it will lose due to this repair. Not only is the revenue from the previous ticket sales not enough to repair it, the gym itself even needs to put money into it. Professor Freshwell has no sympathy for the Super Gym. After all, this is the world of capital elves. If it can bring benefits to him, he can still sympathize with him, but there is no friendship between Freshwell and Eisen. So, Super Gym is so miserable. Will the Super Gym be available next year? Yang Yu opened the invitation letter and looked a little speechless. Under the curious gaze of Professor Flazai, Yang Yu took a look at the invitation letter to him. Professor Freshwell suddenly realized, I was wondering, shouldn't the super gymnasium need to be repaired for a while before the gym can be repaired? This super gymnasium directly sent an invitation letter to Professor Yang Yu, which is a bit weird. I didn't expect to have another battle next year after the repairs are completed. Yang Yu smiled, this super gym leader Eisen, is a bit interesting. After repairing next year, we can fight again. At this time next year, Yang Yu feels that his little dream monster or hacker dragon can take on these elves in Eisen alone. Especially the ghost-type elf Little Dream Demon, who has superpower restraining attributes. Under the nourishment of the top-quality dark stone of this magic fairy stick, coupled with the ghost tides again and again, although it has not permanently evolved into the form of the dream monster, the strength it currently possesses is among the elite-level elves. Among them, it is also an absolute leader. Yang Yu spread his hands. To be honest, for such a battle, Yang Yu suggested that it be better to finish it as soon as possible. Don't repair the elf battlefield for now. It's already so bad anyway. Just tear it down and rebuild it. Make good use of it before rebuilding. The last light and heat. Let the Salted Fish King and Little Bao Bao also enjoy themselves. Gyarados' ability to cause destruction is naturally first-rate. This is its evil nature. Yang Yu usually doesn't have much opportunity for Salted Fish King and Xiao Bao Bao to cause damage. It just so happens that the Super Gym, how about using the waste? Although this repair is a repair, Yang Yu doesn't know why he has a hunch that this repaired Super Gym may still not be good. Does Professor Yang Yu feel a little pity? Is it because there are no elves to fight here? Professor Flashwell thought about it carefully, then pondered for a while and made a small suggestion. North America, as long as you have money, anyone can build your own gym. Professor Flashwell looked at Professor Yang Yu in front of him, his eyes thinking at first, and then his eyes became brighter and brighter. For some reason, when he saw the inexplicable strange expression on Professor Yang Yu's face, his heart suddenly thumped. My little suggestion. Will something big happen then? Professor Freshwell, thank you for the reminder. No, I didn't say anything, I didn't say anything. Seeing Yang Yu's enthusiastic look, Professor Flazai felt a little panicked. It feels like, something big is going to happen. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 885. Professor Yang Yu wants to build a personal gym in North America. After the Day Dessert Shop closed, Yang Yu found two teaching assistants, Lily Ying and Hu Jing, in the dessert shop, preparing to put on the table the little suggestion that Professor Flesway had given him not long ago. Hu Jing obviously stayed here. After all, this news was completely confusing to her, a teaching assistant who was relatively academically inclined. Come on, open a gym. Why do you feel that when Professor Yang Yu says it, it feels as easy as opening a dessert shop? Compared with Hu Jing, Bai Heng was much more knowledgeable. She was just a little surprised, and then she thought for a few seconds, her eyes were bright, and she asked loudly with some excitement, what does Professor Yang Yu need from me? There is no doubt that this is a huge good thing. All of this is based on Professor Yang Yu's absolute strength as a trainer. In the elf world, a trainer's strength often means a trainer's status. Just like now, Beihwing is not worried about what kind of problems Professor Yang Yu will encounter after the gym opens, because Professor Yang Yu's strength is the biggest temptation for capital. Although North America seems to be unfriendly to Yang Yu on the surface, once these capitalists smell the benefits that Professor Yang Yu can create here. In fact, it already exists. Someone is already eyeing Dede dessert shop. However, because of Professor Yang Yu's strength as a trainer, they did not dare to act rashly, and even wanted to come to communicate with him in a very friendly manner, but they did not have the chance yet. Dede dessert shop has the indispensable elf frost milk fairy. At this time, these capitalists don't know how many of them have appeared in the elf world. They have secretly traveled around the world to find out more about the Frost Milk Fairy after returning from the Sky City. Information. Even a reward was issued. However, no one, including Lily Ying, knew that Yang Yu had an entire tribe of Frost Milk Fairy elves on hand. Except brother Wu Yukinkin. After hearing Lily Ying say this, Yang Yu was also stunned here. This builds a gymnasium. How the hell does he know how to build a gym? He won't. I'm afraid the air will suddenly become quiet. Lily Sakura. Hu Jing. Professor Yang Yu, could it be that you came up with this idea temporarily? Hu Jing asked weakly. Building a gym is not a dessert shop. How to choose a location? Where to choose it specifically? Even if it is a personal gym, there must be a battleground, right? What is the size of the battlefield? Given the size of Professor Yang Yu's elf, this battle arena should be at least larger than the super gym, right? I don't feel bad if someone else's gym is demolished, but my own gym. Lily Ying blinked, thinking about Professor Yang Yu's temperament. If someone broke a glass at the elf battle arena, Professor Yang Yu would be distressed and even ask for compensation, right? Ahem, hey, Professor Freshwell just gave me such a little suggestion. I thought it was very good, so I came to you too immediately. Yang Yu looked embarrassed. Fortunately, there is no such thing in the dessert shop. There were other guests, so it didn't matter. You call building a gym a small suggestion? Lily Ying and Hu Jing looked at each other. Professor Yang Yu was indeed Professor Yang Yu, and what he said were inappropriate words, but these words made them sound a little ready to move. This is setting up a personal gym in North America. Turtle. In North America, there are indeed many Chinese trainers who have established various personal gyms. In particular, some fighting-style personal gyms with a history of martial arts and kung fu are the most prominent. They are very famous in Chinatown. In North America, there are also a certain degree of popularity. However, if Professor Yang Yu announces the establishment of his own personal gym in North America, he does not need to rely on the reputation of the Chinese gym in Chinatown, because Professor Yang Yu himself is a symbol of strength. If there is an opportunity, it would also be a good choice to have friendly cooperation and exchanges with the Chinatown fighting gym. Overseas, if everyone can help each other, it will also be a good aspect. I'm going to study the data scale of personal gyms, and at the same time look for suitable personal gym construction areas in North America through the online 3D field of view map. If there is any news, please inform Professor Yang Yu immediately. Although Hu Jing was shocked by the news, she was not stupid, otherwise she would not have become Yang Yu's assistant coach. Now that Professor Yang Yu has thrown out this idea, he must find a way to help solve it. Otherwise, why would Professor Yang Yu call them here at this time? Lily Sakura nodded slightly. In terms of site selection, she really needed to choose carefully. In terms of funds, Lily Sakura was a little worried. After all, building a gym, in terms of materials for the elf gym's battle venue, the cost here is extremely huge. And it must be spent, especially since Professor Yang Yu's elves are too destructive. I still have to solve the problem of funding and manpower. If Hu Jing has chosen a suitable area, I will immediately send someone to investigate on the spot. In this way, Lily Ying and Hu Jing will start another interesting cooperation. Yang Yu was also thinking seriously in his mind at this time. The elf gym he built in North America. Someone will definitely take care of it in the future. After all, it is impossible for Yang Yu to stay here just because the gym is opened in North America. The country of Hua is Yang Yu's home. In North America, Yang Yu is just a passing tourist. Lily Ying and Hu Jing will not stay here either. The personal gym will indeed help them improve their trainer level in a short period of time, but at this young age, they still need to travel more around the elf world to see more and experience more. I didn't have this ability before, maybe now I have this opportunity. Yang Yu murmured softly. Professor Yang Yu, do you have any orders? Or do you have other ideas? Lily Ying didn't hear clearly, so she quickly asked. Yang Yu closed his eyes and thought carefully. When he opened his eyes, a self-confident aura suddenly appeared, making Lily Ying's heart beat wildly. Yang Yu got serious. Nothing. Maybe I have to talk to them tonight. There are some things that they have more insight into than I think, maybe they know where it is more suitable to build a personal gym. Yang Yu smiled happily. Them. Lily Ying and Hu Jing looked at each other. Looking at the expressions of the two assistant teachers, Yang Yu smiled and shook his head. You can't guess who they are and what they do, however, sometimes, their eyes can see better in the dark night. Clear. Maybe you can see them on the street early the next morning. And they're elves? Watcher of the Dawn. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 886. The personal gym was of great importance, so Yang Yu asked Lily Ying and Hu Jing to go back first to do some simple planning in advance. He needed to think carefully. Back at the manor, Yang Yu called out Reggie Locke's wisdom core. Reggie Locke, who enjoys playing FPS games here in North America, now also needs to enter supercomputer working mode. Compared with tower defense competitive games, shooting games like FPS are very friendly to Reggie Locke. Even if his teammates are pigs, Reggie Locke can easily win. As long as you are locked by Reggie Locke in the game, you will definitely get a headshot. Reggie Locke thought that the next time he fired the electromagnetic gun, maybe he could play it as an FPS shooting game. One shot would go into his soul and directly seal the victory. As for now, just work honestly. If you don't work and don't have diamonds, you'll be fine. You want to search for places in North America that are suitable for establishing a gym. Reggie Locke didn't know where he learned it. He snapped his fingers and immediately entered the search state. There are city maps of North America online, as well as some large vacant lots waiting for sale. The filtering here may be troublesome for other people, but for the core of Reggie Locke's wisdom, nothing can be solved on the internet. Reggie Locke's set of keyboard operations dazzled Yang Yu. It was crackling. This was even faster than the keyboard warrior. Yang Yu even didn't know where Reggie Locke pulled out an auxiliary program. On the map, start working together. Then, Yang Yu smelled something burning. The laptop was smoking. I only saw a good screen flashing, then a blue screen and then a black screen. In just a few seconds, it became unresponsive. Reggie Locke. Yang Yu. Ahem, Yang Yu, this computer should be upgraded. Although Reggie Locke is a rock elf, when he speaks, he even has an extremely tactful emotion, and at the same time, there is a little expectation. Finally having a reason to change computers, Reggie Locke felt that his waist immediately became stronger. Before this, I was able to play games with so much enthusiasm, but why did I stop working as soon as I got down to business? Yang Yu looked into Reggie Locke's eyes, and Reggie Locke's eyes flickered twice, seeming to be somewhat righteous. In this regard, Yang Yu also understands that the better the hardware equipment used in Regirock's smart core, this will be of no harm to Yang Yu, but this operation is a bit cynical. The computer immediately exploded. Forget it, the money still has to be spent. Just when Yang Yu was about to agree, what Reggie Locke said next instantly made the expression on Yang Yu's face freeze. It would be great if I could buy a supercomputer. I think that would be a good thing. Isn't Reggie Locke a bit wandering recently, and has he started to dare to think about this stuff? Perhaps feeling that Yang Yu wanted to sing to it, Reggie Locke was excited and shook some small clods of soil off his body. At least it's better than this one. That supercomputer still counts. Forget it? You know, forget it. How can I afford that thing? Yang Yu hasn't experienced the feeling of bankruptcy for a long time, but it feels like this Reggie Locke wants him to go bankrupt. How is this possible? Yang Yu, I have a question. Reggie Locke's eyes flickered again. Ask. If you buy a large piece of land, the gym will collapse and be rebuilt within a few days, right? Reggie Locke directly stated a fact. Yang Yu. Am I that kind of person? The kind who would even tear down his own gym if he got ruthless? At this time, Yang Yu really had to pay attention to this issue. The elf battle arena can be open air, but there still need to be buildings on the edge of the elf battle arena. Yang Yu had an idea. Yang Yu has been through so much, and he really doesn't feel at ease about the indoor gym battle arena. No matter how strong the barrier is, it is often broken from the inside. This sentence is not unreasonable. Moreover, Yang Yu would not think that after he established a personal gym in North America, some powerful trainers in North America would not come against him. If you can't hold back during this fight, you'll be torn down in minutes. Yang Yu didn't think that these North American trainers would give up on the elf battle. He even wanted to see his newly completed personal elf gym collapse on the first day. Especially the super gym leader Aizen. This is North America. In this elfin world of capital, it is not easy to gain a foothold. Regirock, thank you for the reminder. Yang Yu thanked him sincerely. Through the induction of the power of the wave guide, Reggie Locke felt Yang Yu's thoughts. He didn't bother to think about the complicated things in it, and shrugged. The thoughts of you human trainers are really complicated. However, even if they really have ideas about my gym, they can't do what they want. I don't like to suffer losses. Yang Yu grinned. What is really important about a gym is not how big the gym is, how gorgeous it looks, or how many resident trainers or other staff there are, but the founder of the gym and its inheritance. By the spirit that the gym leader retains for this gym is the true pillar of a gym. Now, Yang Yu is the future leader of his own gym. Wherever Yang Yu is, the gym is there. The battlefield between elves and elves is just a venue. You can play in North America today, you can go to Western Europe tomorrow, Australia the day after tomorrow, or even Antarctica. People are here, and the gym is here. Now, I'm going to accidentally cause something big. I really just want to come here for a trip, participate in a rock competition, and hit a few gyms by the way. If it weren't for it not being dark yet, those homeless people wouldn't have returned to the back streets. Otherwise, Yang Yu would have rushed over now and asked them what they thought. Generally speaking, a gym battle arena is enough to host a grand concert. No, it feels a bit oversized. Now I don't want to participate in a rock competition. I'll take advantage of the opportunity to build a personal gym, come to hold a competition of your own. Maybe, it could be a charity show. Let the wandering elves in Boston gather together, and through rehearsal, let these little elves living in the darkness, one day be able to sing and dance in the light, show their best, and share this beautiful land. Blue sky, feel the warm sunshine. At this moment, the light in Yang Yu's mind began to shine brighter, and the long silent line "predict the future" appeared once again. Are you inspired to predict the future? Then, this is something worth doing. There was still excitement and madness in Yang Yu's eyes. In the shadow, Darkray's whole body was trembling at the moment. I don't know why, but in Yang Yu's crazy idea, Darkray felt, in the future, there will be a very close aura that condenses the power of terrifying dreams. Grass. This chapter has been deleted, rewritten, and revised many times. Although it is a bit shorter, it is the most satisfactory and interesting version of Little Musket so far. Thank you for your chapter comments. Let us continue to find a happy path. We can resume it tomorrow. It has been updated normally, but there are indeed some lags as the number of words increases. Thank you all trainers for your support and understanding. Finally, I recommend a PM book and ask for monthly votes. Elves invade the world. Does the author drink alcohol? When I saw the uncle downstairs calling Squirtle affectionately, he called him a turtle son. The rich second generation of the school no longer show off their wealth with luxury cars. Girls no longer compare themselves to bags and cosmetics. When Aunt Wong next door actually gave his son as a betrothal gift from the elves of the 3U family. Mu Qingyun knew that the world would no longer be simple. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 887. Darkrai became a little uneasy. Ever since he learned about Yang Yu's thoughts, he had been restless in the shadow space. Based on Darkrai's experience, once Yang Yu successfully implements this crazy but extremely wonderful plan, the dream god Cresselia will inevitably appear in the dream world of the real elven world. Can Darkrai stop it? Impossible. He didn't want to stop it at all, and even strongly agreed with Yang Yu's doing so. That is, the profits brought about by this are a bit painful for Darkrai. Darkrai remembered that he had said before that how could Yang Yu, a human trainer, find Cresselia, the god of dreams, but Darkrai could not stop Cresselia, the god of dreams, from looking for Yang Yu herself. Etc. Bridge Beans Sack. Something feels a little wrong somewhere. Did I come here on my own? In the shadow, Darkrai fell into confusion. Not only did he come here by himself, he even forgot the way home. Jiggy Ding, what do you think about us holding a concert by ourselves then? Boli. Pang Ding, who was enjoying the cool under the Dai Dai dessert shop, blinked his big eyes and looked at Yang Yu, somewhat confused. Poppy. Yang Yu's words actually made the two elves, Little Dream Demon and Tijipai, excited. Waving his little hands and shaking his head, Tijipai shrank his legs and turned around like a roly-poly. Little Dream Demon is the best at holding concerts. Back then, he led countless ghost elves in the secret realm of Sky City to sing the Elegy of Souls, singing in turn, echoing, and resurrecting Mimikyu. Seeing the Little Dream Demon looking so excited, the corner of Yang Yu's mouth twitched. If there was a ghost chorus in the big venue of the future gym. Yang Yu didn't dare to think about it, but the Little Dream Demon was now holding his fingertips and rocking them up and down like a coquettish girl. Yang Yu was stunned. It seems that a ghost tide would be a good idea. Among these elves who use the sky as their quilt and the earth as their bed, there will also be many ghost elves. They hide in unknown dark corners and dare not go out on the streets at will. The night in the city is not as safe as the elves imagined. Yang Yu waved to Fat Ding with his other hand. Fat Ding, who was sitting there, stood up and quickly came to Yang Yu's side. Jigglypuff was filled with anxiety as he walked. He couldn't believe the sudden news at first. Jigglypuff is different from Dreamcatcher and Tijipai. Dreamcatcher and Tijipai can regard a concert as a happy entertainment project, but Jigglypuff will regard it as very important. Every elf has its own area of expertise, and in this area, everyone wants to be the best and achieve the ultimate. In addition, Jigglypuff was born with a defect in his vocal cords. With the help of Yang Yu, he found a rock and roll path that suited him very well. If he could one day be on stage and sing on a stage with lights that attracted much attention, this would be Jigglypuff's dream. Jigglypuff will work tirelessly to realize this dream. Because of this, Fatty felt very uneasy. Just in case. What should I do if I don't perform well? Little Dream Demon and Tijipai felt very clearly about Jigglypuff's little friend's thoughts. The same goes for Yang Yu. Whenever Jigglypuff shows such a slightly withdrawn expression, his inner thoughts can be fully revealed. Do you still remember how you behaved in the back streets, Yang Yu said softly. Bowling. Jigglypuff nodded, then lowered his head, and wiped his body with his two little hands helplessly, not knowing where to put them for a moment. Do you still remember those days when we were filming commercials? Yang Yu continued to ask slowly. Bola, Bola. Jigglypuff nodded, his eyes still a little evasive. The difference between these two scenes and the concert is very big. When filming the commercial, there were only a few people. Later, there were only a few people left in the entire advertising team, and most of them were acquaintances. Jigglypuff didn't feel nervous after the performance. When we were in the backstreet block, Yang Yu was present, and more importantly, there were not many audiences there. When there were not many audiences, Jigglypuff still dared to open his voice and sing rock music, but at the concert. That's a live show. If you don't do well in an advertising shoot, you can do it again and again. If you don't sing well when there are few people, you will only be laughed at by a few people at most. But once on the stage of a huge concert, Jigglypuff was a little flustered. So I was worried about this. Yang Yu's heart moved slightly. Yang Yu is very easy to understand. When I was still in school, if I asked Yang Yu to record a personal VCR, although he would be nervous and sometimes he would say the wrong lines, just record it a few times and it would be fine. Or, going to the podium to solve math problems is actually a lot of pressure, and it is in front of so many students. If you do the wrong question, it will be very embarrassing. What if we move the scene to the school morning meeting and give a speech at the morning meeting? This kind of courage requires a lot of courage. Then work hard. When the time comes, we will find more audience members and practice. The audience will become more and more numerous, so that when the concert comes, you won't feel nervous or scared. Bola. Jigglypuff nodded vigorously. Yang Yu knew that this was a growing process and there was no need to rush it. Jigglypuff's performance in the backstreet block has taken a big step towards his dream, so the next step is to continue working hard and keep going. Bayo to Frog, the same goes for you. Get familiar with the instrument. When the time comes, you will also have a huge opportunity to show off on the stage. The frog looked at Jigglypuff with envy in his eyes. They are both elves, but their own growth experiences, why are there such big differences? Looking at the envious expression on the frog's face, Yang Yu said amusedly, Frog, do you also want to come and let me comfort you? Quack quack quack. The croak-headed frog shivered excitedly on the spot. This damn thing, it simply can't bear Yang Yu's comfort. When you open your mouth, you will see a little jumping frog, and when you close your mouth, there will be a croaking frog with its legs in the air. No croaking frog would kill for such comfort. Every elf has its own path of growth. If Yang Yu raised the frogs the same way he raised Fatty, it would still be a question whether the frogs could evolve. The frog repeatedly waved his hands and shook his head, saying that he was very well now and did not need Yang Yu's comfort at all. Yeah. At this time, Dada came back pushing a dining cart. The sun outside is gradually setting, and a beautiful night will soon come. The hot meals were placed on the table, and Dede took out 3 extra large plates of grilled fish from under the dining car, brought them to the window, opened the window, and called out Sien Sien, Big Beauty, and Little Bayo Bayo. It's time for dinner. Eat, drink, and be ready. The night action will begin soon. Still in the same place, this time, Yang Yu also knew that there were 2 people from the Elf Alliance following behind him, and they were the same 2 people from before. Yang Yu didn't care, and was even looking forward to it. If he could tell the top leaders of the Boston Elf Alliance through the 2 of them. The Elf Alliance could send so many people to give money to Yang Yu even when they opened a Dede dessert shop. So if they want to do something bigger and happier this time, wouldn't the Boston Elf Alliance send more people? This is not a super doubling thing. This requires at least 100 super doubles. The Boston Elf Alliance is our good teammate. Wouldn't it be too much to cheat like this? Yang Yu had a thought and then shook his head. Forget it, teammates are just here to trick you, so it doesn't matter. Backstreet neighborhood. When the wanderer Roma, who was still calculating today's income, saw Yang Yu's figure and learned Yang Yu's thoughts and purpose. His expression was shocked. Looking at Yang Yu's serious look, he didn't mean to be joking at all. Ram felt his throat was a little dry, and ordered slowly, sonorously. Everyone, come here. Pokemon's character master. Author, AI Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 888. To be able to become the leader of the homeless in the back streets of Boston, Ram is not a fool. On the contrary, he is smarter than most ordinary people. Living at the bottom of the elf world, no one would pay special attention to them, but they were able to see more things in this basically ignored environment. Yang Yu, this young trainer from China, gave Roma a very different feeling. Maybe there was a little rejection of the homeless at first, but this was a normal reaction of a normal person. If there was no reaction at all, Ram would have to worry about whether Yang Yu had ulterior motives. The most important point is Yang Yu's attitude towards these elves in the back streets. Some things cannot be concealed. Boss, what do you say? Boss, I'm here. The wanderer who had not finished his meal put down the bamboo knife and fork in his hand and stood up very neatly and came over. Meow. The cat boss, who was licking the hair on his legs and feet, came over happily at this time. When he saw Jigglypuff's little friend arriving as promised, he didn't know if he wanted to maintain the majesty of the cat boss. When he walked, he wanted to press him down. Steps, but in the end he couldn't help but take 3 steps and 2 steps at a time. Lotta. Fat Lotta touched his round belly. Running was really difficult for him, so he found an angle and rolled over. Yang Yu was really surprised when he saw these wanderers coming over without hesitation. The impression he had on the wanderer Roma in front of him became even more profound. It seems that Yang Yu still underestimated the wanderer Roma in front of him. Although the sky is dark now, it is much brighter than late at night. These wanderers can barely see what Yang Yu looks like, and they see the familiar Slow King, the familiar Jigglypuff, the familiar Little Dream Demon and the familiar Tijipai. Welcome to the backstreet neighborhood. One of the homeless people, Nick, who spoke some Chinese, waved his hand in a funny way. Yang Yu smiled and nodded in response. Because what we are going to talk about next will be more serious. Wanderer Roma kept his eyes fixed on Yang Yu. After Yang Yu withdrew his gaze from the funny wanderer Nick, he also began to stare seriously at the leader of the homeless in the backstreet block. Without any words, the atmosphere at this moment gradually began to become solemn. Nick, stop it, the boss has business, someone in the crowd pulled Nick, and the cheerful smile on Nick's face stopped. Ahem, cough, what just happened? Chinese trainer Yang Yu, are you sure you are serious? Wanderer Roma's throat moved slightly, and in this increasingly serious atmosphere, he asked this sentence very calmly. There is no need for me to make such a joke. I need your help now. Yang Yu's eyes did not dodge at all, and his answer was unwavering. This is a huge plan. If it were any other young trainer who said this, Wanderer Ram would definitely sneer at him. Who are they? They are wanderers. Who in North America would look for a homeless person to be a part of a project so huge that it's impossible to even imagine? The obvious answer is, no one. No one would want to. Ram wouldn't trust anyone else either. However, at this moment, standing in front of him, extending the invitation with a sincere tone and eyes was the Chinese trainer Yang Yu. Trust and righteousness are excellent qualities that have been passed down from ancient times in China. Yang Yu, the Chinese trainer, had no need to deceive them. I believe it. Ram nodded, looked at Yang Yu's eyes, and then grinned happily. Aren't you afraid that I will lie to you? Yang Yu asked back. You can deceive us wanderers, but you can't deceive us elves. Ram, the wanderer, squatted down and gently touched the cat boss's neck. Meow. This big cat nodded in the direction of Ram. The left eye of the cat boss looked at Yang Yu at this moment. Under the feeling of the power of the wave guide, Yang Yu felt that this cat boss had many unknown experiences and stories, and these experiences and stories made him the cat boss can tell the truth and falsehood at a glance. Brothers, we have work to do. Wanderer Roma turned around instantly, clapped his hands vigorously, and announced loudly to the other 11 wanderers behind him. We need to find a large venue. On this land, we will bring all our elves with us. Remember, it is all our elves friends in the backstreet neighborhoods. These elves need a chance to see the light of day again. We can't do this opportunity, but there is a trainer, a Chinese trainer, who will put this opportunity in front of us. Can we help these elves who live in this neighborhood with us? It's up to us. We will hold a concert belonging to the elves on this venue. The best interpretation of the vitality of life is rock and roll. We will hold a rock hymn of life on this stage, which is bigger than the gym battle arena. Wanderer Ram paused and looked at Yang Yu. Yes, we can. Here, the remaining 11 wanderers heard this sonorous and powerful declaration, and a rush of blood rushed into their minds. Roma is their leader of the wanderers. This decision has the consent of the cat boss. The cat boss of Roma will never misjudge the person, so, what else can they not agree with? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Ram waved his hand, signaling for everyone to be quiet. Because we are wanderers, we understand the thoughts of these elves better than the higher UPS in the capital elf world. Have they ever paid attention to these elves? They only care about interests. Those are not important. The most important thing is why I agreed to this Chinese trainer. Ram glanced around and said this. The sorrow that belongs to the wanderer, but in this sorrow, there are extremely gentle words. We are wanderers, but our elves are not wandering elves. Boss, tell me what we need to do. I feel like my blood is almost boiling. Rock, rock, rock. Oh ho. La da da. This fat rat made all the fat on his body tremble when he heard it, and then he swayed left and right. Without rock and roll, he would not have such a happy life now. You are an amazing leader of the wanderers. Yang Yu was filled with emotion and stretched out his hand in the direction of Roma. The truly amazing one should be you, Chinese trainer Yang Yu. Wanderer Ram held his hand tightly. On the road of being a trainer, you have been constantly creating miracles. Now, I think you are the one, the miracle itself. Would you like to do me a favor? Yang Yu said. Say it, respected trainer. Please ask Cat Boss, Radha, and the two-tailed monsters, an elf rock band, to guide my Jigglypuff, and at the same time, also guide my frog to use rock instruments, and wait until the day of the concert, to form a team and go on stage together. How are you? Wanderer Ram took a deep look at Yang Yu, and at the same time lowered his head to look at the cat boss next to him and Jigglypuff not far in front of the cat boss. It's our pleasure. Meow. Horse, listen, listen, is something going on inside? John, the Elf Alliance officer, only felt a surge of excitement in his ears at this time. In the narrow passage of the backstreet block, the roar inside was extremely clear. Yes, we can? Are these homeless people crazy? Are they going to compete with homeless people in other neighborhoods for territory again? This was the first thought that came to Hall's mind, and then, in an instant, stunned here. Because Yang Yu, the Chinese trainer, is inside. This. What is this for? Something big is going to happen. Shall we report directly? John was also dumbfounded. He has never seen this scene before. No, 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 this matter is definitely not that simple. We have no idea what the Chinese trainer Yang Yu said to these wanderers. Hall's left and right eyelids were twitching crazily at the same time. Then what do you mean? Wait here to see when they will be dispatched. If you really want to compete with other blocks for territory, report it to the boss immediately. At the same time, Notify the police department. Halls began to sweat faintly on his forehead. Good. 4 hours later. Holes, they've been busy inside for 4 hours, why haven't they moved out yet? John felt that the flowers of his wait were about to wither. Just as Halls was about to speak. At the same corner, the same figure appeared. John. Halls. And, Yang Yu. Yang Yu. How old are you? Why is it always you? Aren't you tired of standing here? John and Halls looked at each other, weeping inside. Rock, 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 rock. What on earth is going on here? It's so difficult to do this job. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Chiang Shao. Chapter 889. It's another sunny morning. In the corner of the backstreet block, a walking grass was poking around. As usual, it carefully crawled out of the back street. Taking advantage of the fact that there were few people on the road, it found a place with morning light and branched off. Sitting with her legs on the ground, squinting her eyes, enjoying the most comfortable and happiest short time of the day. Soon, a Bulbasaur was holding a small bucket with a vine whip, and another vine whip was holding a small spoon. This is a tool used to irrigate grass-type elves like walking grass. A small spoonful of an elf. Although it is not much, it can still nourish life. Among them, you can see that there are some wilted and yellow walking grasses on their bodies, but they have gradually returned to a healthy green color. When Bulbasaur watered these gradually recovering walking grasses, they also used a vine whip to gently water them. Touched their heads. The walking grass bowed its head obediently, just like a little girl. The shocking wounds on Bulbasaur's back can only be barely maintained under the effect of the life drops to prevent them from getting worse, but for this Bulbasaur, already used to it. Keep watering, watering, watering. In the back streets, homeless figures appeared one after another. Bulbasaur looked up and watched them leave the backstreet neighborhood. A new day has begun, and homeless people also need a new wandering career to find hope for survival in this familiar Boston neighborhood. Fortunately, today's morning is different from before. Because yesterday, someone lit a lamp for them. Nick, when you go to Shiwen District, you tell them that as long as they agree to participate in this Rangers Alliance plan, our grudges will be wiped out. Ram, the leader of the Rangers, looked calmly at the empty street corner ahead. Don't worry, boss. Those guys in Shiwen Street are very soft-hearted. I invite them this time to give them face. Wanderer Nick patted his chest. Ram nodded, let's get things done. Although we are wanderers, we don't steal or rob the things we eat, wear, and use, but our backs are still intact. It's not for anything else, but for ourselves, and with the elves we've had in this backstreet neighborhood for so many years. Yes, during the most difficult time in the past, elves would leave this world in front of us every day. It was a really uncomfortable feeling. After living with them for a long time, I felt like they were our family. Follow Ludo Galad, the longest wanderer in Mew, sighed. This is the last thing they want to see, and it is also something they may encounter every day. Sometimes, the wanderers who took Big Tongue and Yubo to the edge of the city to fetch water were not only fetching water, but sometimes they were also going to bury some elves who had left the elf world. Very helpless, but this is reality. It was precisely because he had seen so many scenes like this that Ram, the leader of the Rangers, would do his best after Yang Yudao came up with his idea and was completely sure of it. Seeing the comfortable smiles of these elves enjoying the brief beautiful morning light in the edge corner, Ram, the leader of the Wanderers, will not feel indifferent in his heart. Living is already very difficult, let alone anything else. Roma was extremely grateful to Yang Yu. With the drops of life, the health of many elves can be improved. Although the effect of the diluted drops of life is not immediate, it requires a process of recovery bit by bit. Now is the chance to seize your destiny. Chinese trainer Yang Yu will open his own elf gym in North America. Here, due to Yang Yu's personal strength, it will attract the attention of a large number of North American trainers. Through this, the elf gym will open on the first day. On this occasion, this rock concert was held to celebrate life. This plan, to the wanderer Ram, is no less than a madman's plan. However, for some reason, Ram wanted to see if he went crazy too. Could he be able to do something for these elves? The reason why these elves become wandering elves is because they are weak and have more or less flaws, and some even have very fatal scars. This Bulbasaur had such a wound in a fire. Even if he survived by chance, the scar on his body could no longer be recovered. Meow. The cat boss walked calmly, and the intimidating aura on his body gradually gathered. He wanted to treat the wandering elves with a friendly expression, but his friendly eyes, due to his ferocious appearance, would instead cause the elves to panic. Only with majesty, only with the majesty of the cat boss telling or ordering them, can these wandering elves feel at ease. Over time, the cat boss got used to being the boss. However, it is the real boss cat. Boss cat, let's go. Ram walked towards the Merc neighborhood, the largest neighborhood in Boston, where he was going. The Shiwen neighborhood is relatively small, so just send Nick there, but Merc, he needs to go in person. Cat boss, the same thing. Meow. It's strange. The way these homeless people are going today is a bit wrong. They used to go to their respective places. Why are there so many people gathered at once today? The security officer on duty in the early morning looked at Ram's direction suspiciously, and then his whole body trembled. In this not hot morning, his forehead was instantly covered with hot sweat. Aren't you going to fight with the homeless people in other neighborhoods? No, you must tell the chief as soon as possible. There are absolutely no good things happening with so many people. For the ordinary citizens of Boston, this day is still an ordinary day, but for the homeless people below the status of ordinary citizens, this is an extremely extraordinary day. At the same time, it was a confusing day for the guards at the Boston Police Department. Because when they thought these homeless people were going to fight for territory again, it seemed that every one of them even sat down and even found a coffee shop. Since when did homeless people still do this? Perhaps there is some unknown secret behind this? On this day, a small piece of news instantly exploded in the Elf Alliance and trainer circles in North America. Yang Yu, a trainer from China, will build his own elf gym in North America. The specific location of the gym is already under preparation. This matter should have nothing to do with the Wanderers, but for the two Elf Alliance officials, Halls and John, after learning about it, it was no less than a bolt from the blue. What's the connection there? Yang Yu took a deep breath and looked at the sun that was getting brighter outside, feeling shocked. Assemble, Rangers Alliance. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 890. This is a big game. Before Yang Yu came to North America, he never thought that he would become a chess player in this game. He originally thought that he would come here for a relaxing and happy trip and play in the gym. Never imagined. It accidentally evolved into this situation. But when Yang Yu told Grandma Lin and senior sister Fang Lian the news via the internet, they both gave strong support. Personal gym? This is a good thing. If you don't hurry up and build a personal gym, I'm afraid you won't have a chance in the future. When you are promoted to a king-level trainer, who will not think of coming to you for a PK? Senior sister Fang Lian continued cheerfully, the important thing about a personal gym is not the venue, but you as a person. Don't worry about what the Elf Alliance here will think. They will definitely support it strongly. This is definitely good thing. Grandma Lin smiled and continued, young people, just go out and have a try, and remember to come back. Moreover, this is also an inspiration to our young trainers in the country. Yang Yu, maybe you can use with a wave of your hand, many young trainers will respond to your call and go to North America to work in your personal gym. Is it so exaggerated? Yang Yu couldn't help but be speechless. He didn't pay much attention to these things. How come it seems? Have you accidentally become a star in the training world? Etc. Yang Yu touched his chin. He seemed to have been here all along. Damn it, he only realized this wave of blood loss now. Darkrai in the shadow is no longer able to complain about the shameless human trainer Yang Yu. He also has a headache now. Once something unexpected happens. Darkrai felt that his head was a bit big. There's nothing else. By the way, Yang Yu, your own personal gym should be built more firmly and the materials used should be more reliable. My gym has not been completely rebuilt yet. Let's have some snacks in your own personal gym. Don't tear down your own gym. Our elf gym will still be reimbursed by the Elf Alliance. Your personal gym. Senior sister Fang Lian shook her head helplessly. When she said this, she felt angry and funny. For so many years in the water gym, the most gym battles have seen are some small cracks on the ground. I have never seen the entire gym need to be rebuilt or overhauled. Well now, the person who destroyed the water gym was Yang Yu, Fang Lian's junior brother. This should be considered a member of his own family. This is why Fang Lian felt angry and funny, because he was a member of his own family. Ahem, thank you, senior sister Fang Lian, for reminding me, thank you. Yang Yu couldn't help but cough a few times, which was really embarrassing. After ending the video call, Yang Yu contacted Dragon Gym leader Yun Zhenfei and Fairy Gym leader Ye Yan again. This time Ye Yan, the Fairy Gym leader, was not at the gym, but went to the far north of China to have an elf battle with the Fairy Gym leader of the Polar Bear country. The battle between Super Big Mouth Baby and Super Tanabata Bluebird will definitely be extremely exciting. We in China also have personal gyms for North American trainers. This is a normal exchange between trainers, so I am definitely not worried about you at all. What I am more worried about is your gym. Almost exactly like senior sister Fang Lian, Dragon Gym leader Yun Zhenfei spoke because he was worried about whether Yang Yu's personal gym could withstand the ravages of the battle between elves above the gym level. Master Yun, let's not talk about this, okay? The water gym leader said the same thing about me just now. Why don't you care about me as a person, but you care about whether my gym can withstand it? Yang Yu called Chu Dao. You kid, don't talk about your grievances there. Speaking of which, Fang Lian gym leader is the one who suffers, okay? The number of people in the park has plummeted during this time in the water gym. Although she didn't tell you, I still want to remind you a little. One time. Yun Zhenfei's tone was a little serious for a while, and then he said comfortingly, it's good that you know this news, and don't take it as a burden. This time after the water system gymnasium is rebuilt and repaired, it will be even more high-end and majestic than before, and maybe even it will be more impressive than water gyms in other countries and regions around the world. Yang Yu was silent for a while, nodded and said, I understand. Thank you, Master Yun, for telling me the news. It's okay. The old ones won't go and the new ones won't come. Feel free to open your own gym in North America. If the King of North America comes to fight you one day, remember to tell me in advance so that I can prepare to go and see you. Your elves battle. No problem. Thank you, Master Yun. Yang Yu ended the call, took a deep breath, and slowly calmed down his inner emotions. I will do more for the water system gym after I return. Thank you to senior sister Fang Lian for your continued help. Yang Yu felt warm in his heart. Gradually, I felt like there was a solid backing behind me. In any case, this is something Yang Yu wants to do. Grrrrrrr. Dede, of course, fully supports Yang Yu's decision. Dede and Xiangxian's growth foundation is to help the elf trust and the elves who are still wandering in the city. Yang Yu looked at the two circling figures of Salted Fish King and De Mei outside the window. Dragon dance, as a dance with mysterious rhythm, is a kind of war dance, a mysterious dance that inspires and enhances strength in battle. Although Yang Yu didn't know if there was a war song in the elven world that had a similar war dance effect, but even if there was no such move, there was a war song that could enhance the elves' momentum during the battle. Music can bring a kind of power to people. For elves, the same thing works. Among the sound moves, whether it is singing, echo, or high pitch, except for the noise, metal sound, and song of death, when the elves sing their own war songs in a normal way. It's like Jigglypuff singing his own jumpin' song in the back streets. Dance of the Dragon can only be a single buff that enhances the strength of an elf. Can war songs improve the strength of all elves? The wandering elves need this kind of power. Not only that, when elves fight in groups, a suitable war song can also inspire the elves' strong desire for victory. The only one who can sing this war song is Jigglypuff. Yang Yu couldn't let himself sing, but it was okay to roar along. The little dream demon is good at singing soul elegy to summon souls. Salted Fish King sings about noise. The beautiful song is a healing song that soothes the heartstrings and heals scars. This is not just a personal gym, nor is it just a concert. Yang Yu leaned on the sofa and closed his eyes. In his mind, 4 gilded letters flickered faintly. Rise.